For most of 2010, the sci-fi horror film discourse has largely revolved around a movie called The Human Centipede, in which a mad scientist creates the creature of the title by sewing victims together ass to mouth. It's alright, as these things go, but aside from the whole, what am I looking at? What the hell is wrong with people? Aspect, there's really not much to it. But if you prefer your creature features to come with some intellectual muscle to back up the on-screen ickiness like The Fly or Altered States, the movie you've been waiting for is Splice. Here's one of those rare genre films that works on every level. It works as a monster movie, it works as a drama, and it works as a thinking person's science fiction. It's the total package, the real deal, it's this year's District 9. Story-wise, it's about a pair of brilliant young scientists named Clive and Elsa, played by Sarah Polley and Adrian Brody. They're rock stars in their field for genetically engineering designer organisms for a big biotech firm, but as a side project they've decided to add some human DNA to the mix, mostly just to see if they can. The result is Dren, who starts out looking like a sea monkey, then looks kinda like Mewtwo, and finally looks like something that'll be keeping DeviantArt busy for the rest of the year, thanks to French actress Delphine Chagnac and disturbingly excellent special effects. Against their better judgment, or rather his better judgment, since it's pretty clear who wears the lab coat in this family, they decide to keep Dren around for observation. And then things get weird. How weird? I'm not telling. You've got to go see this for yourself. And you should definitely do just that, because Splice is probably going to end up being one of the best movies of the year. The film marks a career high point for hardworking indie director Vincenzo Natali, who some of you might remember from the 1997 cult classic Cube, itself a one-time benchmark for mind-bending sci-fi. When Splice screened at the Sundance Film Festival, it caught the eye of Joel Silver, the legendary Hollywood maverick who famously took a chance on the similarly obscure Wachowskis and a little picture called The Matrix. As a result, we are now the recipients of an incredibly rare treat, a smart, adult-oriented, thought-provoking work of science fiction opening as a welcome alternative to the summer blockbusters. Sometimes the system works. The best thing about it, for me, is how determined it is to put the science back into science fiction. It turns the archetypal Frankenstein story on its head, swapping the usual metaphor of the scientist as neglectful father for one of obsessive motherhood, and it grounds the rationale for its most elaborate ideas in the cutting edge of what's going on in the life sciences field right now. Despite all that, it never falls into the usual Frankenstein trap of using the fiction to bash the science. Too many so-called mad scientist movies wind up taking roughly the same views on intellectual curiosity as Shaggy 2 Dope, framing the ghastly goings-on as an ignorant moralistic lecture about how we must not tamper in God's domain, or whatever. But Splice never goes there. Instead, it puts the blame squarely on the emotional instability of its characters, rather than the field they practice in, and it comes tantalizingly close to suggesting that by forcing Clive and Elsa to go rogue in order to carry out the experiment, our hidebound squeamishness about bioethics has caused a lot more of the problem than it'll answer. And for that, I could damn near hug the thing. Because make no mistake, people are going to be talking about this one, and while it's certainly going to be fun to watch the popular culture have the collective would ya discussion, while grown-up Dren slugs it out with Neytiri over who can inspire the most uncomfortable fan art, it's the heavier stuff that'll make it still worth talking about at the end of the year. And as for what makes it worth seeing now, all of the above. I mean, look at what other gems opened this week. A C-list Mr. and Mrs. Smith, a dog that's inconveniently large, and
the chubby man fall down, go boom.
Yeah, no. This is the kind of movie that we're lucky to still get at all, let alone in the middle of summer, and I strongly recommend y'all go give it a look. It deserves to be seen, and if nothing else, you won't see anything like it again anytime soon. So go do that.
And, yeah, that was the original review of Splice from back in 2010, and that's the first of the way retro review uploads, which is something that I was going to announce was coming to the channel. Was planning on more of a fanfare rollout for that. But as you may have noticed, there's been a bit of lull in uploads as a few other projects came together, and we saw this one, the movie Splice, popped really big on Netflix recently for some algorithmic reason, and figured, hey, speaking of algorithmic reasons, if we don't get something up on the site really soon, YouTube will start burying the channel traffic again, so this was convenient, basically. So let's get this one up, because this is one of the earliest reviews. Unlike a lot of the others that'll be coming up, getting re-uploaded, you know, back then, obviously, my visuals were very primitive, my jokes were bad, my delivery was a little slow, but opinion-wise, I think I nailed this one. Disclaimer notwithstanding at the beginning. I'm not sure that I'm going to keep doing the music underneath it. Let me know what you think of that, the modern music. I just think that it's interminable without some sort of something resembling white noise underneath vocals, especially on listenable YouTube videos or whatnot. So I threw it under there. The original, of course, didn't have that backing track. But otherwise, yeah, I still hold basically the same opinion about this movie, and I think it's really great to see it pop up again. So I think I'm actually pretty thrilled that this is the one that I get to put up as the first of these retro reviews. Basically, I want to have as much content going up daily as we can, and as a lot of these newer projects that are going have taken some time to build toward. Ironically, some of the bigger ones are also re-upload and compilation and retrospective related, but even the ones that are mainly new content are time consuming, so you want to have new uploads, and sometimes re-uploads are new uploads. I want to make, even when we're uploading old content, for it to be as new as possible. So, we've cleaned up the visuals, cut down some of the filler, cut down while preserving as much of the tone and tenor as possible. Some jokes just suck now, so they're out. But yeah, so if you found this review because you just watched Splice on Netflix or heard that Splice was a good movie and you were looking for a review of it, this is an old review of an older movie. Check out some of the new reviews on the channel, and there will be more classic reviews getting uploaded. I'm going to try not to do it like multiple at a time, just because I don't want to flood everyone's inbox, but please understand that we are trying to keep the lights on here. So I hope you enjoyed that, and there's going to be more on the way, so take care. Enjoy.